I feel sad for the people in the US. I genuinely wonder how people in the US cope. China promotes peace. The US doesn't. Hi world, hi YouTube. This is Sabrina in China. Welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, thank you for joining. Today, I will be talking about why I prefer China over the US and why I believe China is a much better country than the US. If you haven't subscribed to my channel, go ahead and subscribe to my channel. Thank you so much. Hit that notification bell and share this video with your friends. It's going to be good. The first reason why I prefer China over the US is that China is a much cleaner place than the US. Hands down, there's no debate about that. China is much cleaner than the US. The facilities here in China are super clean. The public transportation here in China are super clean. There aren't garbage piled on the streets here in China. No, it doesn't happen. I rarely ever see a pile of garbage on the streets of China. There's almost always someone cleaning the streets here in China. And not only the streets of China, the transportation, the public facilities, they are clean. If you should go to New York, one of what is considered one of the best places in the US, and you should go on their subway, you will be absolutely disgusted at how dirty the subways are and how rat infested the subways are. Here in China, that is not the case. The subways in China are so clean. Oh my gosh, I remember when I just came to China, I was so afraid to take the subways. I never took the subway for months because in my mind, I thought the subways would be so dirty. So I avoided the subways at all costs because I thought, if the great US, their subways are so disgusting, I thought China's subway would be disgusting. And that's because I was living so close to the US. And also I was in the US. I've traveled to the US. I've seen the US subways, right? And I thought, okay, they're so dirty. So, and they're considered the greatest country in the world. So I thought, okay, so maybe China's subways wouldn't be clean. And I was still, the truth is I came to China with a lot of ideas and thoughts that were, that were sold in Western countries. That's the truth. And so I was afraid of going on the subways. And one day my friend, she took the subway and the first thing I asked, is it clean? And she said, yes, the subways are clean. And then I tried it for myself. I couldn't believe how clean the subways were. Absolutely clean. I was blown away. I was blown away at how clean the subways are. That was like the first moment, like something went off in my brain that like, okay, maybe I was told a lot of lies about China. And that's when I started to really think differently about China because I couldn't believe how clean the subways were. And like, I don't know why I had these, I know why I had these negative perceptions of China. It is what is sold to you, right? When you're outside of China. And in that moment, I started to see China in a different light because the country was so clean. The subways are so clean. So yeah, that's one of the reasons why I absolutely prefer living in China over the US. Another reason why I prefer China over the US is that China is simply more peaceful than the US. That's it. There's almost always some unrest in the US, some protest, someone fighting with authorities, someone challenging authorities, something going on. Almost always. I feel sad for the people in the US. I genuinely wonder how people in the US cope. With everything that is going on in the US now, I genuinely wonder how people are coping in the US. Check out this video 2 weeks ago in the US. They chase him with the gun. I almost always something like this happening in the US. Unlike China, China promotes peace and harmonious relationship with colleagues, with friends, and family. That is the basis of Chinese culture, peace. And you can see how China is operating on the world stage right now. China is trying to approach every situation with peace. The basis of China's foreign policy is non-interference and respecting the sovereignty of other countries. Unlike the US. The US dictates to other countries what they should do, who they should partner with, who they should trade with, and tell other countries, if you do this, we will not do this, and if you do that, we will not do that. That is US. China promotes peace. And when you will disrespect the sovereignty of another country, there cannot be peace on the world stage. And so, even on the world stage right now, China is promoting peace. But that USA, they continue to provoke China. They continue to put their nose in places that do not concern them and continue to provoke not only China, but other countries. And so, unlike the US, China is a peace-loving country. China is a country that promotes peace. And I will always prefer China over the US for this reason. Here in China, life is so peaceful. And I appreciate that so much. I wonder, I really wonder, how are people coping in the US? I genuinely wonder, with everything that is happening, how are you coping right now? Something is always disrupting the peace in the US. And so does the US on the world stage. Always doing something to threaten world peace. I believe that the US is one of the greatest threats to world peace in the world right now. Yes, because they cannot respect the sovereignty of other states. This is the truth. And they cannot just deal with their own issues. They cannot. They cannot deal with their own issues. They cannot focus on things they need to focus on in their own country. No, they cannot. This is not enough for US. It is not enough for the US to focus on what is going on in their country. It is not enough for US to focus on all the social issues in their country. It is not enough for US to evaluate what is happening and why the things that are happening in their country are happening. It is not enough for them to do that. It is not enough. Right? It is no wonder why the American allies are reconsidering their position with the US. US is not a peace-loving country, unlike China. And so that is the number one reason why I prefer China over the US. China promotes peace. The US doesn't. And finally, another reason why I prefer China over the US is how cashless China is for me. With the use of Alipay and WeChat, China is almost cashless every single place. I can't think of one thing I would need to do right now or pay for in China that I couldn't use my phone and scan and go. I always say, like, you can take anything from me, but do not take my phone. In China, your phone is one of the most important thing because you use it to scan, pay, and go anywhere. You get your salary there, you do like everything. Even the people that are selling on the street, you're able to scan the barcode, the WeChat barcode or the Alipay barcode, scan, pay, and go. In the last 2 years, I've not had physical cash in my hand. And that is so convenient. I do not need to join a long bank line, ATM line to withdraw money or to pay for something. Every single thing that I can think of doing here in China, I can use my phone to scan, pay, and go. And that is just amazing and convenient. It makes life so much easier. And not only my life, I think on the grand scheme of things in China, life is more productive in China, because a lot of people, they do not need to stand in a long ATM line, in a long bank line to withdraw cash, to pay something, to pay some bills. You can pay your bills online. You can top up your electricity online. There's so many things you can do online. Every single thing that I do online. I use my phone to scan and go. I do not use cash. In the last 2 years, I've not had physical cash in my hand. I have not. I have had no reason to do that. So I prefer China over the US because China is cashless and it makes life easier and more convenient. So yes, I like that. That is it for my video, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you for spending your time with me. This is Sabrina in China. Until next time, bye.